Hey, what's going on, guys? Dave here. And sorry I've been away. I've been a bit under the weather and lost my voice. You can probably still tell. The downside to losing your voice, it's really hard to make videos where your primary job is talking. So, in lieu of that, what we're going to do today is we're going to make some ice cream. Some keto ice cream. Now, there's a couple things you're going to need. The first thing that you're going to need is some sort of milk substitute. This guy has 1 gram of carbohydrates, and that 1 gram of carbohydrates is dietary fiber. We can have this. This is good. You're also going to want something to flavor your ice cream with. Those among you who are traditional might think vanilla or cocoa powder, and those are all well and good. I use this stuff. It is a salted caramel peanut butter with like 1 gram of net carbs. I tried it. It works well. And I mix that and a little bit of coconut oil to thicken it. We're going to try something different. Instead of coconut oil, we're going to try about 2 ounces of cream cheese. That's about 1/4 of a block here. So, in my little mixer, this guy here, oh, and then you're also going to want a sweetener of some kind that's 0 carb, obviously, unless you want to make a really savory ice cream, which, I mean, you could do too. I've toyed around with the idea of making like a bacon ice cream, like a sweet and savory bacon ice cream, or a smoked almond ice cream, because that sounds delicious to me. But I think we'll stick with the basics and go with that guy there first. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, and luckily this has a measuring guide on the side, is I'm going to add about 1.25 cups of this. And then a 1/4 cup of sweetener. It's ice cream, so we want it to be sweet, right? I'm going to be using this as my vessel for my ice cream because Iron Man is my hero. So, we've got that. You could mix all this stuff by hand. I find it's easier in a little mixer, especially if you're doing chunkier ingredients. Now, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Because ice cream always turns out better if you add vanilla, and I'm not sure why. Throw that in the sink. And then we have a heaping tablespoon of cocoa powder. Because if we want this to be chocolate ice cream, we have to add chocolate. Now, the good thing about all these ingredients, like the cocoa powder, it's 3 grams of carbs for a tablespoon. But our 1 tablespoon is going to make all of this into ice cream. So if you eat all of this in one sitting, which is going to turn out to be a little more than a pint of ice cream, because a pint is 8 ounces. We have a cup, or a pint is 16. A pint is 8 ounces. A cup is 16 ounces. So we're actually going to have 2 pints of ice cream. That doesn't seem right either. I need to figure out my measurements as far as what overall end volume is. But we're going to end up with like a cup and a quarter, cup and a half by the time we're done. Cream cheese. I almost forgot the cream cheese. Now, you may hear a sound in the back. As I do this, I'm also prepping my broiler. I'm going to make some bacon bowls. Ooh. Which would be really good to serve this in. And I'm going to need a little dish to put this in when I'm done with it. Which will make it much harder to use next time. But right now, we're taking 2 ounces, so that's about a quarter of this package. And luckily, this package is marked. 2 ounces, 4 ounces, so on. So we're going to put 2 ounces of cream cheese in here, and then we're going to check consistency after we get it all mixed and blended. But I think the cream cheese will work just as well, if not better than the peanut butter that I used the first go around. So now we mix. Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry about that. I got a phone call from my brother. But we have a thick-ish consistency. That's not super thick. It's about like melted ice cream is, to be honest. And let's taste it. So we'll get a clean spoon. It tastes like chocolate cheesecake. So, if we're going to use cream cheese in our ice cream, we'll be able to make cheesecake ice cream flavors. It's good to know. Let's throw it in the freezer and see how it works out. I'll see you soon. So I said I was going to be making bacon bowls. I have this square tin, and honestly, it's pretty straightforward. I realize bacon's greasy, but they don't stick as bad if you hit it with a little cooking spray to begin with. And anytime you're putting anything in the oven, unless your directions say specifically not to, I always recommend greasing your pan, using a little cooking spray, whatever. I also have my oven set to broil, and I have the light on. There's a real basic reason for this. Broil is the highest setting, and I want it to fry. Like the goal is for the bacon to fry. And the light is on, so I can kind of babysit it and know when it's done. So there is some layering that goes on and just a little overlap. But each of these is going to take about 2 pieces of bacon total. I have mine cut in half because it makes it easier to work with and it lays in better. But since the ice cream won't be ready for a while, I figured I'd show you guys a little of this, which isn't exactly exciting. But if you've never thought to do this before, to come up with, another way to prepare bacon or prepare stuff with bacon. Like, once I found out that this was a thing you could do, it was eye-opening for me. Because it gave me, like, a bunch of options for stuff I could make that I would have never thought of previous to that. So, that's this. I'll let you see these when they're done, and then we'll take a look at the ice cream and see how everything turns out. Look at that. That is our finished product, at least for the time being. And you can do all kinds of stuff with these. I like filling them with cheese and vegetables and just serving them that way. And you can throw them in a pan to pan fry them a little more. But they're going to be relatively crispy once they cool down. That's how bacon works, but they're not going to be super crispy. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention, if you're going to do it this way, you need to have one of these to suck the grease out about halfway through the cooking. Otherwise, you wind up with bacon and pools of bacon grease that aren't going to cook or get crispy. So that's important. I'll catch up with you guys later once the ice cream's done setting up. Thank you. Hey everybody, so the ice cream is done, and it's quite literally ice cream. Well, kind of. It's cream cheese and cocoa powder and stevia, and you saw all that earlier. So it's not quite as ice creamy as I would like. It's kind of the consistency of if you let ice cream thaw out and then refreeze it, which means if I made it in an ice cream maker, it would probably just be regular ice cream. But it tastes pretty good, like chocolate cheesecake. And there's like, in this whole giant cup, 3 net carbs, 4 net carbs, somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm pretty pleased. This has been me experimenting with food and cooking a little bit. I'm Dave. You're awesome. Never stop loving God.